Hey y'all, hey, it is Friday. Come on in so we can get to the last part of our women leadership series. So we can get to the last part of our women in leadership and women in business series that we're going to talk about today. So hopefully you have enjoyed all three parts so far that we have discussed about our series, A Confidence Check. And this whole entire series has been about women in business, women leaders, women CEOs, and how our confidence and our clarity affects our pockets. So, y'all know my favorite equation, my favorite formula, right? Equation is clarity plus confidence equals coins. Clarity plus confidence equals coins. So, that still stands true on today. So you all know what to do. If you've been tuning in with me all week, you know what to do. Introduce yourself. Let me know that you're here so I can say hey to you because I like to speak with my people that are in the room. And then also share this with somebody who may need it because there are several women out here that have had their confidence impacted by a series of events that I'm going to discuss today, like this, that I'm going to discuss today. So, you know somebody that has been impacted, go ahead and get them in the room. Let me know that you're here and speak and share this with somebody that you know. So here we are in day four of the confidence check series. And our topic, or our title for today is Copy the Right Cat. Thank you, I'm flattered. Confidence acknowledged. So I went through each day and I've given you a different type of confidence, a different type of way that your confidence can be impacted by four different scenarios. Today is the fourth day. On day one, we talked about a seat at the table, a poison invite. So we talked about how your confidence can be crushed because at some point along the journey of your success, maybe somebody that you developed a partnership with, that you had a collaboration with, whatever the case may be, they invited you to be at their table at one point, but it seems like the invite ended up becoming poison because they started to look at you as competition. So, us as women, our confidence can be crushed from instances like that. Day two, we talked about the slow death from your 9 to 5, move up and move on, how your confidence can be silenced from being stuck inside of a 9 to 5 setting that causes you to adapt to the environment in which you work and causes you to kind of do some behaviors or develop some behaviors to ignite something called survival of the fittest within the workplace setting. And how you don't realize that when you get ready to start a business or you start your side hustle or whenever you shift into your new career position, how you realize that when you take some of those that you actually are taking some of those behaviors into those endeavors as well. Okay, that was number two. Hey, brown sugar. Number three. So yesterday, our topic yesterday was it's not a great fit. Mask off, identity on, confidence aligned. And I ran through a couple of my personal stories, and a couple of scenarios as to the power of having aligned confidence and what you should be looking for, what you should be encouraging and pouring into yourself to ensure that your confidence does stay aligned. So the right opportunities, the right collaborations, the right blessings, right, will come to you because they know how to find you because you are showing up in your authentic self. You are showing up in your true identity and you're showing up in a way that truly represents you and your brand. So the right things can find you when you are truly showing up as yourself. So that's what I talked about yesterday. All of these replays can be found across all of my social media channels. So here on my personal page, here on my business page. Hey Javier. Here on my business page on Facebook. You can find it on LinkedIn, YouTube, or Instagram as well too. So I've talked about all of that this week. So today's topic, like I said, today's topic for number four. This is day four. It's a four-part series. It's copyright cat. Thank you, unflattered. Confidence acknowledged. So for those of you that don't know me, I'll introduce myself as well too before I get started. But my name is Tanika Johnson. I own a company called Cultivate with Tanika Johnson, where we help you do one, if not all, of three things. You are going to elevate your identity, you are going to expand your impact, or you are going to evolve your income. One of those three things, if not all of them, should happen upon working with us. So if you are somebody to where you're trying to figure out how to do one of those three things, if not all of them, you should be sliding in my DM either now or after this live broadcast is over. But I'm gonna go ahead and get into it. So sometimes us as women leaders and us as women CEOs, we have instances that may pop up. You know, we get so excited about building our brand and building our personal, even our personal brand. We get so excited about putting our business out there. We get so excited about, you know, launching the offers and the products that we know that we have that are going to impact and change the world and impact other people's lives. We get excited about these things because, truth be told, if you're not excited about it, they're not going to be excited about it either. So, in most cases, I'm not saying that I'm always happy 24/7, but in most cases, every time that I'm working on something, I'm working on an offer, I'm working with a client, or I'm working on a project, or I'm going and doing in person networking, or I'm doing a vendor event, whatever the case may be, I always make sure that even if I'm not necessarily truly excited that day, or I may be having a bad or off day, I still make sure to go ahead and flip that switch on because sometimes you have to. That's just what the territory calls for, right? So, sometimes you have to flip the switch on and get excited about what it is that you're doing. You have to, because it only is going to draw more excitement from the people that you are speaking to. So from the people that are in your audience, from the people that you are engaging with, from the people that you are seeking to either impact their lives or improve their lives in some way, it's only going to help you do that, right? So, um, often when people see that, sometimes we have secret fans, sometimes we have super fans, sometimes we have people that we don't even know are really following us or engaging with us that become our fans. And then sometimes we have people that are inspired or aspire to be more like us as we show up as women leaders and role models in the marketplace and even in our places of employment, right? There will always come a time, I don't care who you are, there will always come a time to where you will probably encounter somebody being very inspired by you. And instead of them just telling you that they're inspired by you, you might end up starting to see that there are little representations, if you will, of you that may be displayed through their brand, maybe displayed, you know, in the form of offers, copywriting, brand colors, logos, emails, whatever the case may be. However deep you gotta go, because sometimes it can get real deep. I've seen it. Um, you may even pay attention to like how somebody dresses. Hey, Charmaine, you may even pay attention to how somebody dresses, right? And you might even see how like the transition of people that call themselves inspired by you may even start to represent those small pieces of you, right? And so sometimes the first response, hey Ashley, sometimes the first response for us as women is that we feel like, how dare somebody, you know, pull from my brand or pull from my identity or pull from what I have to offer without asking me first, right? And it's kind of like a gut punch almost, if you will, because we work so hard to build our identities. We work so hard to build our brands. We work so hard to build our offers. We work so hard to build the values and the morals for which we want to truly impact the lives of others for. And so when we see somebody try to rip that off as if it's just a copy and paste function on a keyboard, we get offended. We naturally get offended. But here is what I'm trying to relay to you today, if anything. So if your takeaway today, if anything that you should take away from me today is that you don't necessarily have to be offended, right? I get, you know, how sometimes it can be real deep because I've seen instances as you know, as a representation of working for a past influencer. I've seen instances of how people that are inspired by you or that are aspire to be more like you, how they can rip off your whole entire brand and try to copy it. And they're thinking that it's a more of like a praise representation, but it goes more into like idolation, if that makes sense. So idolizing somebody, which is not what we want to do. because you always want to make sure that you have your own representation of self. It's okay for you to be inspired by somebody, right? But it's not okay for you to completely rip off somebody's identity and try to portray it as your own brand or try to portray it as your own behaviors, knowing that you're truly inspired by that person. But us as women leaders, like I said, we can be impacted by that, right? I've seen people take entire programs and content framework, especially if it's not trademark or protected. Absolutely. I've seen it done too. It's actually happened to me. It's actually happened to me. So I know exactly what you mean, Ashley, when you say that, because it's happened to me as well. I've seen, even from my past mentor, I've seen where sometimes she infused her copywriting to reflect stuff that was in my brand. And I felt some type of way about it. I still stayed humble, but I felt some type of way about it. But it's not a good feeling. It's really not, because you know what God gave to you when He delivered that brand vision to you. You know what God gave to you when He delivered that leadership vision to you. You know exactly what was given to you on that phone call with Him, right? So when stuff like this happens, it's kind of almost an insult or a slap in the face, because, like I said, people think it's more so just like a copy paste function that's on the keyboard, and they think it's just easy to just duplicate you that fast. But here's my thing. I've always had that same mentor tell me um, that when people are inspired by you, or they are inspired by you, and they say things like they wish they had what you had, or they wish they had the success that you had, I always try to be careful of that, because number one, you should always identify what success looks like to you, so you know what you want to shoot for. If you're shooting for somebody else's version of success, you're going to become very exhausted. You're gonna become very exhausted. I've shared so much, I'm open now, but I don't move differently because no one can deliver curriculum material like me. Absolutely. I feel the same way. They can get the same results. It's my life. Exactly. And that's big. And that's the point that I'm trying to make. That's why we as women leaders shouldn't pull back when stuff like that happens. We should still continue to lead the forefront and lead the way, because here's the thing. They're only going to be able to move how you move if you move, right? So, however you move, they won't be able to make a move outside of that. They won't know how, right? So, eventually, what should happen is that person is going to either tire themselves out. For those of us that are a little bit more on a higher level, we have an attorney. It's as simple as sending out a cease and desist, because cease and desist is real, right? Cease and desist is real. And there are repercussions that can be implemented for that if it starts to get too out of control and too out of hand. But it also comes with us, again, why I'm saying that you shouldn't let it shatter you as a woman leader. It also comes with us knowing that we should have healthy boundaries, because if you take the energy from you delving into your daily leadership that you do and the daily work that you do in your business, you are going to end up expanding or expounding energy onto something that you don't really want to expound energy on. Something that either you should be using that energy that you're expounding on that situation to go sell, to go network, to go build your business, whatever the case may be. It's something that doesn't require you to respond to it, right? So yes, ma'am, attorney representation, business insurance, protect. Yes, all the way around. This is essential. It's very essential. It's very essential. And I know that those are things that everybody can't afford, like when they're just starting out in their business. But eventually, like if you know this brand that you're building is going to be a lifelong brand, those of us that are playing the game of longevity, you are going to get to some sort of point to where you're going to need to hire an attorney. You're going to have to trademark your stuff. And I mean trademark anything. Trademark your brand name, your logos, your offers, your frameworks, your colors, whatever case may be. Like the representation of your brand and how you show up and what you display all comes from you, comes from your brain, right? It comes from how a vision was delivered to you. So you will get to a point in your business, if you are playing the long game. There's so many people that are not necessarily playing the long game, so this may not resonate with you. But for those of us that are playing the long game and we're representing that leadership walk for longevity in our life, and longevity in our finances, and longevity in our impact, and longevity in our identity, These are the things that are going to be important, because at some point in your journey as a leader, this is going to happen. Somebody's going to copy off of you, and somebody may do it verbatim, and some people may do it kind of sneakily. You never will know until it actually happens, right? You get more of what you focus on. That's completely right, Ashley. So, what you should take the time to acknowledge is that your confidence is being acknowledged in that moment. Your confidence is being noticed in that moment. Your leadership behavior is being noticed in that moment. The way you lead from the front line is being noticed in that moment, because it's something about you that inspires that person, that they aspire to be more like you. And instead of them communicating that, which I know there's a lot of adults out here that don't know how to communicate still, instead of them communicating that, which also reflects how much your emotional intelligence shows up in who you are and what you do. Let me throw that in there. Instead of them just communicating that and not only possibly paying to receive mentorship from you or paying to receive coaching from you, instead of them doing that, they take it upon themselves to just be a public display, right? And as you continue to grow your business and as you continue to grow as an individual, for those of you that are building more so a personal brands, because when you're in your 9 to 5, you're building a personal brand, regardless of whether you know that or not, right? Um, it's gonna happen. You're gonna have somebody on the job that's just like, well, why does she get, such? Or why do they always acknowledge her? Why does it seem like those things happen? Women can be very catty in the 9 to 5 space. They can be very catty in the business space. In both places, right? So you as a woman leader, you can't let that take a shot to your confidence. You need to let that be an acknowledgement of your representation that you have put out into the public, your representation that you have put out into the community, and how you're showing up and being who you need to be on a daily basis, right? So this is the importance, right? So I've had opportunities, or I've had times or instances where I've had my offers, the names of my offers, completely copied. I've had copywriting that was designed specifically for my brand completely moved over and copied. And I've had, even a little bit of style inspiration that was completely moved over and copied. But you have to know how to navigate these things. So let me see something. Let me see something. So in the second regard, it also comes down to this as well too. If you are gonna copy somebody, right? We're telling them, like, if you are gonna copy somebody, we'll make sure you're copying the right cat. Because sometimes, and this is what I used to say when people um get inspired about how much money somebody is making in another business, it doesn't necessarily mean that if you start that same business, you're going to end up making that same amount of cash flow too. Because number one, you don't know the story behind that person and why they decided to start their business or their brand. Number one. Number two, you don't know the losses or the sacrifice that that person might have had to endure to build up their brand to be able to have those opportunities call in the amount of cash that they have been able to call in. It may not just be what you see, right? So that's why I always talk about the difference between a side hustle and being a business owner, because there is a huge difference. Like, it's okay. Hey, Aqua Swim Angels, it's okay for you to start a business as a side hustle and not necessarily wanting to evolve into a business, a full blown business, right? But when you start to want to evolve into more of a business, you can't just think that you're going to look at somebody else's business model and what it is that they're doing and determine that you could just copy and paste what it is that they're doing, or that it would automatically work for you. That's what I talked about yesterday. When you're securing your identity, when you're wearing a mask, right? You'll look up and you'll think that every opportunity that's presented to you, or that you see on your timeline, or that you see somebody celebrating a milestone that has happened for them in their life, you'll think that their opportunity is supposed to be for you as well too. It's not necessarily supposed to be for you to go and do the exact same thing that they did. However, that does not discount somebody who's going in the field before you, in the same industry before you, that literally is just being an example, being a motivation. So it's different to see somebody as a motivation versus aspiring to be them. So if they're going forth and they're just being a motivation to show you that it's possible for you to be able to hit these types of milestones in your business, that's one thing. But if you take it as an instance to where you aspire to start having parts of their lifestyles without knowing the full background of what it is that they had to do to acquire those lifestyles or what sacrifices they had to make, it can get real iffy for you when you're starting to wanting to live the identity in the life of somebody else. Let's see what you're saying, Ashley. Let's see. This is so true. I worked under a few leaders and they mimic these principles. I was so shocked when you see behind the veil. Yep. I'm like you, literally took this line by line. Their mindset, why reinvent, trying to figure out the wheel. Take take what's already working. I'm like, what? Evolve and flow. Yep, you got a great point. And thank you for yesterday. Thank you for tuning in yesterday. So you have to know the difference between being motivated, inspired, and aspiring to be somebody, right? So, like I said again, as women leaders, as we show up in the space, and especially if you're showing up in the form of displaying thought leadership, because I continue to say it over and over again. Social media can be a strange place, right? It can be a strange place. Anybody and everybody has a platform. You have to be able to navigate people who are putting out true thought leadership and who are just on the timeline to be on the timeline. Now, however that works for you, it works for you. If you're getting paid to just share foolishness all day, that's perfectly fine if that works for you. I'm not knocking your hustle. But for those of us that are truly building something of longevity, of substance, and of structure, we're thought leaders. We're thought visionaries. We have a responsibility to come into our communities and help them get the knowledge, get the guidance, and the things that they need to help improve their lives better. It's not for us to come on here and necessarily share foolishness all day. And so I'm not saying that you as a woman leader can't, shoot the crap sometime, share some jokes and stuff like this sometime, because I definitely do that too. I'm also more so talk about my life experiences though. But for the most part, the bulk of your content as a woman leader has to show or reflect some form of thought leadership that represents you, your brand, your mission, the problem that you solve, and who you're solving it for. Some of your own personal stories. So storytelling is a really huge thing. It's not really for you to just be on the platform, just, like I said, just sharing some of anything, right? So it would be really hard for somebody to come in and try to copy that if you're truly displaying that. It would be really hard for somebody to all of a sudden think that it's going to be a great idea or a great fit for them to be that inspired or that or aspire to be, that they start trying to calculate, well, how can they make this look like a certain way for them, for what it is that they want to do. So you can't be shaken up by that as somebody in leadership. You can't be shaken up by that as somebody in business. And I know, like I said again, in the business world, it can get a little bit catty sometimes because people do have audacity. They go and buy it at Walmart each and every day. I don't know if y'all know, but they have it. And they buy it off the shelf every day. And you literally, will be minding your business, and all of a sudden you never realize that somebody was actually so aspired or so inspired by you that they're starting to display representations of you or of your brand, using your brand name, your likeness, and your character, right? Which is actually to some extent against the law, right? Without your approval. So let me know if this is making sense, because I want to make sure that I'm relaying this message correctly. I didn't write out notes today because I wanted this to kind of just be like a flow thing for today. But okay, Ashley, thank you. But we truly should use that as opportunities to be flattered. We truly should use that as opportunities to actually have a confidence boost. Because there's some days where, again, as women leaders, that we may not feel like we're doing what we should do, or we're not doing enough, or that we're not, showing up enough, or whatever the case may be. It's almost kind of like the opportunity for you to receive like that acknowledgement of saying like, okay, well, obviously I'm doing what I need to do. Obviously I'm getting to what I need to do. Obviously I'm getting to the bag. Obviously I'm inspiring somebody, instead of feeling like crushed or feeling like you have to shrink back. Like I said, your emotional intelligence really has to be intact when you decide to show up in leadership. You can always tell somebody who is truly leading themselves, because their emotional intelligence, what they respond to, what they entertain, those types of things are representations of them. And so there was some stuff in my inbox, just as an example, this morning. There was some stuff in my inbox this morning. I had about 5 different messages this morning that kind of like threw me sideways. I'm gonna say at least 3 to 5. The other 2, not so much, but at least 3 of the 5 kind of threw me sideways, because people often seek women in leadership for collaborations. They often seek women in leadership for building up partnerships and relationships, brand partnerships, stuff like that. So when you go to reach out to somebody who is prestigious in their leadership, you have to study what it is that they're doing. And you have to study what it is to see if the offer that you're coming to the table with is even going to be a representation of what they value in their business. And if the relationship even mutually is a beneficial relationship and it makes sense, because you're not the only person that should be benefiting from their relationship. Let me make that clear. You're not the only person that should benefit from their relationship if you're going to put an offer on the table. You need to come to that person with how is it going to benefit them. And it needs to be able to reflect their morals, their values, what they believe in, and what they exercise as a woman leader in the space. And it don't need to be no junk. Like, I had somebody in my inbox this morning. Actually, I'm going to read your comments in just a second. I had somebody in my inbox this morning, they literally shared a video about a homicide yesterday that happened here in Memphis, and the dead body was on the graves. He was like, "You can share this, send me your cash out." I'm not finna share that on my timeline. I'm a woman of leadership. I'm a thought leadership person. I'm a visionary thought leader. People seek advisory from me. That content does not reflect with my audience. I'm not sharing that mess on my timeline. I don't even watch the news here where I live at, because it's so bad all the time. I don't even watch the news, period. Let's be clear. If I don't see it on social media, I don't see it. But I was taken aback, because the person was just like, "Well, this person referred you to me. They told me to network with you, and I was open to network." And I asked him, I said, "Well, were you looking to network, or were you seeking services?" In the conversation that you had with that person, he was like, "Well, send me your digital business card." I sent my digital business card. Hey, Anitra. I sent my digital business card. Hey, Monique. Um, and he didn't fill out the little form to like send his information back. So I know he didn't get access to my business card. So I messaged him this morning, because he sent me another video about, I don't know, somebody in real estate was trying to sell a house. I don't know. Okay, that's fine. Somebody in real estate was trying to sell a house or something, or had a house for rent. And he was like, I said, "Why are you sending me these videos?" I said, "I'm not trying to be ugly, but like, why are you sending me these videos? I don't understand." And he was like, "Send me your cash app. When we see people that share your video, that like or engage with the video, we pay you." What, sir? No, I'm sorry, sir. I'm a woman of leadership. This content don't reflect what I do on my timeline. My timeline expects a different type of content from me than what you're saying. So there's no benefit in their relationship for me. There's no benefit in me engaging in that with him, right? And I kind of just had to let him know that, because I was just like, if you took the time to actually study my page, read what I do, which is a pinned post right at the top of the page, you wouldn't even have came to me with that offer. But this goes back to what I talked about yesterday about identity and knowing who you are and your identity, because that opportunity would have looked like an opportunity to somebody who was scraping up, trying to scrape up pennies and trying to, get whatever they needed. I'm not saying I don't have my low days, but that opportunity was no opportunity. Somebody instantly would have sent their cash app and would have been like, "Okay," and they would have shared the mess on their timeline. That's not me. That ain't me. So if he had took a little bit of time to actually study what it is that I do, or even ask some questions to show interest instead of just rolling up in my inbox with these crazy videos, that I don't have any interest of seeing, he would know that our partnership or whatever he was trying to offer me would not be beneficial. Right. Not that low. I ain't gonna do that. Right. My voice is changing. Okay, I'm not sure what's happening. Um, but maybe it's something with the signal. But it's stuff like that. So as a woman in leadership, I wouldn't share that content. The relationship has to make sense. The content has to make sense. If I had took that video that he sent me of that dead body and posted it on my timeline, people would have been like, "What?" Now, I will say that sometimes it seems like stuff like that gets pushed way more than solid, good content that has substance. I don't care how you want to put it, but I will say that it seems like sometimes content like that gets pushed, so people can get on here again sharing foolishness all day. But if you're not somebody who represents a form of, that you have a level of seriousness in your business, that you are somebody of leadership, that you have established thought leadership. Hey, Janelle, you have established thought leadership. We wouldn't have a good partnership. We wouldn't have a good partnership. That reflects bad on me as a woman leader. That reflects bad on my brand, because now my brand is going to end up having a negative connotation attached to it for sharing that type of content. That's not the type of content that I share. Let me go back to what you said. Ashley, you said makes sense. I'm definitely getting it. Moving the hurdles can really propel us in business and life. That's a part of business, and most don't prepare. They don't. I quit so many communities, masterminds, and retreats because it's so messy. Oh, let me put this on the screen. Let me put that on the screen. Because yes, it can get really messy out here really quick. And I'm actually in the process of learning the lesson right now as we speak. It can get really messy really quick. It really can. And if you don't know yourself, you can really get lost in the sauce. Like I said, this is what I talked about yesterday. But being a part of some of these groups and memberships, you have to be careful with it too, because there are people inside of the groups and the memberships that will copy your stuff real fast because they think, because y'all in the group or the membership, that they have the authority to be able to do that. So it just goes to, like I was saying, like, you have to continue to work on your emotional intelligence as a woman leader. You have to realize that in moments like that, that's really just your confidence being acknowledged, because you were bold enough to get up and go out here and show up in the way that you show up. You were bold enough to get out and go up here and present solutions to people's problems, your audience's problems. You were bold enough to get up and go out here and decide to change the lives of those that you want to change. It's different. It's real different, right? So you have to conduct yourself a little bit differently. What questions do you all have? This one's probably going to be a little short today because I feel like I'm starting to repeat myself now. But what questions do you all have? We have the right to decide. Partnerships should be mutually beneficial. Yes. I need you to still tripping off you. She said, not that low. Not that low. Um, not that low. Not that low. Y'all have questions? Have y'all been tuned into the series all week? I know most of you all have. Like I said, the replays are on my page. They're on my pages across all my platforms. But hopefully this quick acknowledgement. No questions. This was good. Okay, good. Good. Monique, I know you've been tuned in. Thank you for being tuned in all week. You have to catch up and implement. I don't know if I really I did give like some tips to kind of implement, but more so, like, this whole entire series was built off of wanting to create more awareness, like I said, because we go through so much as women leaders in the different environments that we're in. And like I said, my formula is clarity plus confidence equals coins. Those two can really affect our pockets in ways that we don't even think and not even realize subconsciously sometimes. So sometimes we end up getting wrapped up into things that we don't even realize are happening in the moment that they're happening. But if we are more self-aware, and if we are more secure in our identity, and if we are really like trying to close the gaps of that equation, we'll be able to catch when these things are happening. That'll be different as a leader. Absolutely. This is important to set yourself aside from the crowd, right? And it's your job as a leader. That's why I say, like, if you find somebody copying off you, if you find somebody that seems like they're aspiring to be you, if you find somebody that seems like they're trying to duplicate your brand, just keep showing up. Just keep showing up. Keep doing what you're doing, because it's one thing about it. They have to wait until you move to be able to make a move. Like, they can't move without you making the move. That's the only thing about it. So it seems like to me, in instances like that, at some point they're going to become exhausted. They're going to become exhausted because it's going to take them having to wait on you to figure out what next move they need to make. And they still won't know the strategy because they weren't inside of your being when the strategy was created, right? I desire to become more secure in my identity. Okay. I know we've had a couple of conversations, but what do you feel like you need help with specifically? Which part of the equation? I'm talking about clarity and confidence equals coins, but which part of the equation? What is it? What is it that you're trying to do? I need you. You said how tragic. How tragic, girl. Girl. I got some stories. I haven't even shared most of my stories. I haven't even shared all of them, right? But at some point, they're going to eventually become exhausted because they're going to have to wait on you to make a move. That's why when people, I don't know why people be, I don't know why people get to the point where they feel like they need to copy out somebody, because you have to wait until I make my next move to actually make a move. And it's not saying that sometimes God doesn't give a similar vision to multiple people, but we all gonna do it in a different way. I don't care what nobody say. Like, it could be multiple people in the same industry. We all have a different perspective of what their industry is supposed to be doing for us, what we're supposed to be doing for the people that we're serving, and how we want to deliver it through our touch, right? It's different. To be clear about my messaging, I'm thinking about doing, I need to pray on this. I really do. I'm thinking about doing like a writing workshop. I said I wanted to do a identity to income workshop or masterclass, excuse me. And I was gonna make it a free masterclass. Um, I might do that. I might do that to try to help with that, because I realize like a lot of people, just going again to being a woman leader. That's a part of being a woman leader, being able to articulate and communicate what it is that you do, how you do it, and be able to do it in multiple ways, in multiple settings. Which I talked about that yesterday. The 3 skills you need to make sure that you're working on. I talked about the sermon that I was inspired by Dr. Darius Daniels the other day. The 3 skills you need to be working on, regardless of whether you feel like your business is directly associated with it or not, is where's my paper? Coaching, speaking, and selling. And I talked about that yesterday. Coaching, speaking, and selling. You have to. And people don't realize like serving is selling. I have a lot of clients that are in the health, wellness, and beauty fields, or food and hospitality as well. And I have a lot of them that I have positioned because they're uncomfortable with selling, or they were uncomfortable with selling. Let me put it this way. So I kind of reprogram their brain to think about it a little bit differently. Instead of them just posting their services and their offers and how much they are and what they are, I put them in a position to be educators, aka thought leaders. And how did I do that? When you're in the health, wellness, and beauty fields, food or hospitality, you don't have the luxury to sit back and just watch things happen in your field. You don't have the luxury to just sit back and never immerse yourself in what is evolving in your industry. You don't have the luxury. People that find themselves not being able to, I'm going to say, talk about what they do, it's probably because they've reached a comfort zone in their industry and they're not really studying their industry anymore. They're not really involved in it anymore. They're not really engulfed in it anymore. So the way that I helped them was to help them be able to sell more. They had to educate their audience. It's a million hairdressers out here. It's a million massage therapists out here. It's a million nutritionists, personal trainers, chiropractic. Like, it's a million of those people out here. The thing that they are not doing, and I don't care how many people you look at, the thing that they are not doing, they are not educating their customers. They're just not. And so that was my way of helping them separate from the crowd, was to be able to say, like, most of them are walking encyclopedias. Like, when they're talking to me, they dropping all of this knowledge. I'm like, well, why are you not sharing that knowledge with the people that's trying to pay you? Like, share that knowledge with the people that's trying to pay you. Because one my massage therapist client, she does a lot of manual lymphatic drainage massage, and that's ideally tailored to people who get BBLs and tummy tucks. She don't want to really do them for those people. She's like, I want to focus on pregnant women. I want to do postpartum. I want to focus on people that suffer from lymphedema. And I'm like, people don't know that lymphatic drainage massage should be really tailored to these things. You need to educate these people. And as soon as she started doing it, she ended up booking like $1,500 in services, like in the same day, because she changed the structure of her delivery and her messaging to be able to educate more versus just saying, like, hey, I have this service, this is what it's for. If you've received this type of surgery, you should be able to come get this. No, let's say it a different way, right? Let's say it a different way. And this, again, is a way that people won't be able to copy off of you as a woman and as a thought leader. The more you stay in your industry, the more you stay in your knowledge, because like I talked about yesterday, people, they graduate, they get their certificates, they get their licenses, and they never revisit CEUs until they have to. They never revisit upskilling until they have to, until they're pushed in the corner. They're just like, well, I'm tired of doing the same thing that I've been doing. It's time for you to improve your skill set. It's time for you to add to your skill set. That's why I talked about, I had a conversation with a lady the other day. She was telling me about a lash artist that got upset because she was trying to go to the bank and get a loan, and she was asking her basically, like the ins and outs of her business to see if she could qualify for the loan, right? And she was telling her, how much money she make, or how much money she's wanting to make or projecting to make. And she was saying she wanted to do multi six figures as a lash artist. I said, it's not possible. It's not happening. Not, and that's your only service. It's not happening. Your caliber of clients is going to have to be way up here, which means these are like celebrities, people in very prestigious neighborhoods. They're going to have to be way up here, and you're going to have to be turning clients. You're going to be in the shop all day. So are you willing to sacrifice that amount of time for you to be able to have access to that people to be able to hit that number? I was like, now she's gonna have to add more things to her arsenal, because just making that much money off of lashes, I'm not saying it's impossible. It has happened for some people, but the amount of people that it's actually happened from, let's just be clear, that cannot be your only service on there, and you thinking that you're gonna be able to make multi six figures off of that. It's not happening. And that comes from you having to understand your industry, you having to understand your business model, you having to understand what it is that you do, because you're not the only person that's out here doing it, right? So the way that you stand out more as somebody in leadership, or a woman in business, or a thought leader, is you stay immersed in your industry and what it is that you're doing. The section, the niche of what you're doing, even if you want to get super specific, and you constantly engulf and eat that knowledge, and you figure out how to turn it into content, because that's really all it is. That's really, really all it is. So they're able to separate themselves from other personal trainers. I have a personal trainer, and I hear all the time, he's here in Memphis. It's a lot of personal trainers here in Memphis, but let me tell you what they don't do. They don't educate their clients on what's going on with these exercises and what's going on with their bodies, and the difference between, different anabolic processes and metabolic processes and aerobic and anaerobic. They don't educate them on that. If you go on his page right now, he got videos you can literally binge watch. And that's why he does so well in his business. His business has been around, 10 or 12 years. That's why he's one of the top gym owners here in the city, because he takes that approach versus just telling somebody, here go your workout, here go your meal plan, and just hoping that, they're going to understand what's going on. When you get people more involved in what it is that's helping to transform or change their lives, they're more willing to, one, be excited about it, two, give you money for it, three, also recognize the support that they need to be able to get from point A to point B. So that just gets them more excited about what it is that you're trying to present to them. So as long as they're presenting that knowledge is doing the selling for them. I hope this is making sense for you all. I hope this is helpful as well too. I know that ain't really what we kind of talk about today. It kind of blends in, but that knowledge is selling for them. It doesn't always have to be a direct or a hard sell. It could be that I offer you value and I give you value, tons of value on a regular basis, and that value and that knowledge is doing the selling and the heavy lifting for me. She came back to me and she said that made it easier for me to close the sale because I didn't have to ask her. She just was like, how do I pay? Right? So it's stuff like that that I definitely think will help separate you to keep people from actually copying off you, if you will, and that sets you apart in your industry and what it is that you're doing. So hopefully that makes sense. So I might do the identity to income masterclass that might be able to help you with your messaging that you're saying you need assistance with. And I think I'm gonna make it a free masterclass. I need to see how I want to framework it first. But give me some feedback. How y'all feeling? Y'all enjoyed this today? Because I'm gonna get ready to hop off. But this is the close of the series. We've done our 4 parts. This is the completion of the series. And so now what's next step? So this was the series that was leading up to a workshop that I am hosting in June. It's June 15th. It's going to be from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. here in Memphis, Tennessee. It is in person only because I want it to truly have a dynamic, intimate experience. It is a workshop. It is a workshop. Okay. Let me say this again. It is a workshop, which means you are going to work. I am going to feed you. You will have breakfast. You will have lunch. You will have snacks. The food will be amazing. The experience will be amazing. You can have access to all the water, tea, coffee, juice, and I think they're going to have wine as well too, that you would like. But we are going to work. So the first part of the day will be split off into instructions. So I will be teaching you frameworks. I will be teaching you strategies that align with you and where you are in your business, because most of us fall within 1 to 3 places. You're either trying to elevate where you are. So again, Cultivate is doing 1 of 3 things for you: helping you elevate your identity, helping you expand your impact, or helping you evolve your income. You're either in 1 of those 3 places in your business. And whatever your roadblocks are that you're experiencing are either rooted in clarity or confidence, which is why I have my equation as to how it affects your pockets. So I'm not just throwing this stuff out to you all, guys. Like, this is literally like my life and formulas and frameworks, things that I have learned along my own business journey. So this comes from me. This comes from me, right? Comes from my own personal experience and even my experience in working with my clients, right? So during that workshop, you'll be able to get the frameworks, the strategies that you need, the mindset work that you need, because we got a couple mindset things that we're going to be doing. But you'll be able to get all of that you need at the beginning in the morning. And then in the afternoon, what we're going to do, we're going to apply those things that you learned in the morning. So by the time that you leave the workshop, you will leave knowing exactly what it is that you need to do. There's no excuses. Okay. And if you still feel like by the time we get to the end of the day that you don't know what it is that you need to do, I am not going to let you leave without knowing. So if that means that I have to hop on an extra sales call with you because somebody may have to hop on a flight and leave back out, that's fine. But you're not going to leave my workshop just being fed well as far as food. I know you're going to be fed well knowledge-wise, but just being fed well, saying you had mimosas and you dressed up and that was it. That's not what this is about. Those events are fine, but this is not that event, okay? I want you to be able to leave knowing that you got an opportunity to not only receive the information from me, the strategist in the room that's delivering the information, but you'll also get an opportunity to work with me. I'm going to work with you all in the room, okay? I don't want anybody to leave there not having got what they paid for. It's very, very important to me. I believe in the value. And I always over deliver. Always. You can ask all of my clients. I over deliver every time. right? Even before you become my client, typically I over deliver. And they're getting to know you process, right? Typically I over deliver, right? So that's June 15th, the Confidence to Coins workshop. It's June 15th. Right now, there's an early bird sale on the tickets. You can get a general ticket for $300 off at the price of $697. There is a pay in full option available through Klarna. If that does not work for you, I am inviting you to send me a DM so I can get you in another way. If you can't get approved for that, but you still want to come and you would like a payment plan, there's another way that I could get you in, right? But that's what's available on the sales page, right? It would not let me use Afterpay for this particular event. I do have it, but it wouldn't let me use it for the ticket sales. I'm not sure why, but Klarna was available. If you need to pay in for a different way, please send me a DM and let me know. But this is an in-person only event. Um, the general admission tickets are on sale early. I mean, the early bird tickets are on sale until April 30th. After April 30th, they're going to go to regular price. So general admission is $697 right now. Regular price $997. The VIP experience comes with a $25 food credit to come to an after event dinner with me, to have a more intimate time with me, and for us to kind of kick back and chill and network a little bit more intimately. And there's only so many slots for that. The VIP experience is $11.97 right now. The regular price is $14.97. Okay. Right. There's paying for options available for that. If you do not qualify for Klarna, but you want to do a paying for option, let me know and send me a message. I can still set it up for you another way. Okay. So this is the in-person experience that I want, because it's definitely going to be an experience. And I really want to be able to only serve those that want to be there. Okay. If you don't truly want to be there, please don't come. Please don't come. Because I want to serve those that truly want to be there. I want to be able to give those what they need to be able to reach their next level. This year for me is all about elevating. Mediocrity is not tolerated in this season for me. So if you're somebody who is settling for that, please don't come. Please don't come. I need you to come standing in your authority. I need you to come knowing how powerful you are. I'm going to pour into you. So don't worry. But I still need you to come already with the posture to be able to receive and be able to recognize, like, you can do this. It's not impossible. You have support. You'll be able to network with the other women that are going to be there in the space as well too. And I honestly don't care how many in the room. If it's one or if it's all 30, it's fine with me. I'm going to pour the same way. That's just how I'm set up, right? So get in the room, have a conversation with me, ask me if it's a great fit for you. It's really great. It's really great for service providers for sure. But if you have a product-based business, DM me so we can see. But it's definitely great for women service providers. So if you're a coach, if you do project management work, if you do other service-based work, whatever your service-based business is, if you have a hybrid business model, which means you sell a service and a product together, that's fine. That'll definitely work. Product-based is one of those things. To me, people either want products or they don't. It's really going to be more so about how you're entertaining them with their product and educating them with their product and the benefits of the product, what the product looks like aesthetically. That's really all that is. But service-based is a little bit of a different ball game, right? It takes a little bit more time. Ashley, what you say? Okay, I'll check flights coming from Jax. I'm square with my other coach, so free to move forward. Okay, awesome. I would love to have you in the room. So if there are any questions, please feel free to slide in my DM. Please don't slide with no foolishness, Lord. I can't take no more foolishness today. I had too much foolishness in my inbox today. But please slide intentionally with some great questions. No question is too silly. No question is, off the board. But slide with some good intention. Let me put it that way. You know whether or not you come with good intention. Let me just say that. My DM is open. I'm here to assist you. I'm your strategic advisor in your back pocket. Some of you, I will get that later. But I'm your strategic advisor in your back pocket. I'm here for you. I'm trying to be more flexible and more open as far as like what it is that I'm doing and what I'm offering. So for those of you that are welcoming that opportunity, if you're looking to work with me, you want to know more about what it is to work with me one-to-one, or I haven't officially like rolled out my group program yet, but you can learn more about my group program as well too. If you want to know what it's like, or maybe you just need a session, if you need a intensive session, those are available to you right now, right? So slide in my inbox, let me know what it is that you need. We can talk about whether or not we're a great fit to work with each other, and if we are, we can get the ball moving. Okay. So again, I hope you have enjoyed this a confidence check series. If you are looking to learn more, or find the information for the event, the first comment on Facebook contains the link that has the link to both tickets, the VIP ticket and the general ticket. If you are on Instagram, the link in my bio um, has the links to both the general ticket and the VIP ticket for the Confidence to Coins workshop experience. Again, this is a workshop, so we're not just gonna have mimosas and wine and food. You're gonna leave with a strategy that's customized to you for your business, for where you are in your business. So I'm meeting you where you are. Let me be clear, because a lot of people miss the mark on that. It's not going to be another conference where you just get so bombarded with so much information that you don't know what to do when you leave. I want to help you do what you need to do with the information while you are there, so you are confident for when you leave, because I would be going against everything that I believe in, lining up this workshop to be called Confidence to Coins, and you leaving out the door and you ain't confident. Okay. So get in my DMs, talk to me. I do not bite people. I'm very, very sweet. I know I can come off intimidating sometimes in my delivery, but I don't bite nobody. You can ask my past clients. But anyway, you all, today is Friday, so I'm going to do some self-care Fridays because this is my self-care day. And I will see you all on the other side. Slide in my DM if you have questions. Let me know what it is that you need. If you have questions that are not related to this, want to ask me questions about your business, my DM is open. So see y'all later.